What's going on? It is 11 degrees out. I am up here at the Eels Preserve. I'm back where my Microspikes broke, and I've got my new replacement Microspikes. It's snowy, probably icy, definitely cold. Good day to test these out. Now, little backstory on how this all went down. I originally ordered these the day my Microspikes broke, and I ordered the size based off of the Catula Microspike sizing, which apparently run large. My Catula Microspikes were mediums, so I ordered mediums. These are the FRANDEK crampons. We'll get into that name here in a second. But the FRANDEK crampons, I got them on Amazon. I will put a link in the description, so if you want to check these out, it is an affiliate link, so it won't cost you anything extra, but it may get me a couple cents per purchase. Full transparency, just putting it up there. Click on it, don't click on it, doesn't really matter. But the FRANDEK ice crampons, and like I said, we'll get into that name in a second. So I got the mediums a couple days later. They showed up, I went to put them on, and they're like a children's size. They are minuscule, they're really small. So I immediately returned them. Couldn't even get them on my shoes, couldn't even get them on like bare feet. And I don't have huge feet, I got size 10.5, and they didn't fit. So I sent them back, I ordered a replacement. Now those mediums were the 19 cleat option medium. They were $15 and change. So I went back on to Amazon, I pulled it up, I said let me go extra large, and I looked at, because I've got a 19 cleat and a 24 cleat option. All right, let me look at the 24 cleat option. It's only $9 and change for 2 sizes bigger and more cleats. So I would suggest if you've got even remotely adult sized feet, you go with the extra large, and I'll show you why. So they come with a bag. There's no reason to do an unboxing. They just come in a clear plastic bag, and you get all the stuff in it. So you get the cleats. I got them all tangled up. How did I do that? There's too many spikes. Okay, you got the cleats. They look very much like the Catulas or the Hill Strands or any of them. And each plate has at least 4 cleats on it. So on the toe, which I got upside down, so on the toe there's 4 plates with 4 cleats, giving you 16. On the heel there's 1 plate with 4, 1 plate with 5. So I'll take some pictures and put these up too so you can see that a little bit better. First impressions, the cleats aren't quite as robust. The metal doesn't seem quite as robust as the Catulas, but they seem pretty decent, and we'll see how they hold up to weight. The band is pretty stretchy, it's decent, and it gives you a pretty good indication. It has front where your toe should go and arrows pointing that way, so not a lot to look at on those. But it also comes with obviously a little stuff sack, and then it comes with 2 Velcro straps, which I thought is very handy. The Catulas did not come with this. You just put this around the rubber banding and Velcro it. You can tighten it up so they stay on your feet better. I'm gonna take those with me. I don't think I'll use them. I'm gonna try it without them. I'll just put them right on my shoes because I'm wearing my snow boots, which have a little bit more aggressive tread, so they're a little bit wider. Now, let's talk about that name, the FRANDEK crampons. These are not crampons. So if you're looking for crampons, if you're getting into ice climbing and you think, oh, I'm gonna get some cheap crampons, these are not crampons. Do not rely on these as crampons. Anything that's got a rubber band, basically, that holds some little metal cleats to your feet, not crampons. Crampons are big. They go on your shoe, almost like a binding, like on a like skis or snowboard. They semi-permanently attach to your foot. These just kind of slip on. Crampons, these are not them. These are for hiking, shoveling, things like that, where you don't need you need extra traction, but you're not going to be climbing with like an ice axe or anything like that. So I'm going to call them Microspikes because that's what they basically are. But again, they're FRANDEKs. They're on Amazon. Links in the description, affiliate link. $9 for the extra large with the additional cleats. I will strap these on and then we will check them out on the trail and we'll see how they do. And yep, still 11 degrees. So if you were going to use these little additional straps, just feed them under. So you put the Velcro down. Well, that makes sense. All right. So, I don't know why there's a buckle on there. It doesn't really do you any good. Unless you do it. There you go. Attach one side. And you go across. I'm not going to use those though. So, hanging out here for a second by the car because as I was recording, this guy in a truck pulls up and he's just kind of sitting down there. I don't know if you can see him. Kind of sitting at a weird angle. I thought maybe he was coming to go hiking, but there's definitely some weird stuff going on there. So I was going to hang out here near the parking lot for a minute. I'm not sure I trust what is going on there, and there have been some instances of cars being broken into in this lot. That's just it's a weird thing to be doing. Just pull up and sitting at the end of a lot. And as I'm putting the camera away, I noticed this on the kiosk. This is the kind of terrain I'm looking for. So there's rocks under here. I've already clipped a couple rocks with the cleats. Seeing as though these cleats don't seem to be as robust as the Microspikes, I'm curious to see what happens as I'm walking on these rocks. See if it bends them up at all. I'm kind of intentionally trying to walk on them. This is gorgeous out here. This is bringing me out to the same spot I was at the other day. It's a different way to get down here. Let's see. I can go across there. Maybe I will go across the icy rocks instead to see how they do. Well, they're gripping good. There's a lot of spikes in there. I didn't expect them not to. Let's see. Let's take a look real quick. Too many layers on. So far, so good. Let's go up a really rocky trail. Take Stonehenge. So I'm on the conglomerate loop right now. This will take me over to the Stonehenge Trail. And as you can see, I'm not really watching my footing. I'm just railing into these rocks with these cleats. I really want to test them before I get out somewhere where I'm really going to depend on them. I want to make sure they're not going to just shatter. And conglomerate has got a lot of rocks on it, as does Stonehenge, as you can probably tell by the names. Yo, you see how clear it is, and it is only, what did the car say, 11 degrees. Got a breeze blowing. I am almost sweating though. I may have over layered, but I'm not camping, so I'm not too concerned. Huh. Might have been bobcat. So I made it to the intersection of Stonehenge and conglomerate, and someone wedged a piece of conglomerate in the conglomerate sign. Holding up with a stick. Kind of funny, actually. All right, so far, I don't know, maybe a half hour into the hike, 45 minutes, and the spike's been doing good. It's really hard to show how well they grip in a video. Just have to kind of take my word for it, I guess. I have hit a couple like really solid frozen spots, and kind of kicked the snow off them and tried to slide and slip and move around on them, and they're holding up pretty good. So grip wise, they do thumbs up so far. Obviously this isn't a long-term review or anything. I just got them. This is more of a first impressions kind of a deal. Get them out for an actual real world use instead of just showing you video of them in the house. It is a little weird because I'm so used to my Microspikes being red. I look down and I don't see the red bands. I'm like, oh, do I got my spikes on? Yeah, I got them on. Yeah, I'm really giving these things a test as far as their durability is hitting rocks. I'm really not paying attention to where the rocks are at all. I'm just blasting over them. There's a nice icy spot. Anchored me pretty well. It's just a nice little dusting of snow. It's only about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches. It's hard to tell. It's windy and this is really fluffy because it was really cold when it snowed. So some of it has blown away. But tomorrow and Friday, they're calling for more snow. I don't know how much. It'd be cool if we got some clean the lens. It'd be cool if we got some decent snow. I wouldn't mind I don't know what's supposed to be like over the weekend. I know next week is supposed to be up near the 50s again. So maybe if it's not incredibly windy over the weekend, I'll at least head down to Forgotten Camp or something and get a little snow camping. These tracks, some are deer, and some might be coyote. I wonder if a coyote was chasing some deer around, because they are definitely following. That's a deer. That's deer. Definitely making some erratic moves. Might have been getting chased by a coyote. Cause that might be coyote track. It's not real clear. That's deer. The snow's so soft it's hard to get a good idea what these tracks are, but definitely two kinds of tracks in here. Yeah, this deer's all over the place. It's running in circles and zigzags. This is just ice. Oh. All right, well, now the spikes are wet. We can see how they handle being wet. I'm guessing they're going to snowball a little bit now. So that term, snowball, with microspikes, any kind, spikes, or I guess it happens with crampons too, yak tracks, anything like that. If it's too warm or it's too wet, like just happened, the spike got wet, they'll start to collect snow underneath the cleat, and this starts happening. I'll show you. You start getting snowballs. They're not a big deal, except, there you go. Not a big deal, except it is a little annoying under your feet. It's a little annoying under your feet, so they'll probably happen a couple more times. So all the moisture gets pulled off of those. Although it feels pretty good now. So yeah, if you're ever watching one of my videos, or anybody who's wearing spikes and they're talking about snowballing, that's what they're talking about. On flat trails, not a big deal. That doesn't go anywhere. This is a loop. But if you're going up or down, climbing, and it's icy, and you get snowballs in your cleats, it can cause your cleats not to engage the ice, and it could cause you to slip. So whenever possible, I try to keep my spikes dry, and unless I absolutely have to, if it's above freezing, I try not to wear them. Yeah, if it's just straight ice and the ice is wet, well, then you put them on. If it's snow and ice and it's above freezing, usually it's a little less slippery, but Sometimes that snowballing can be worse than not having any spikes on at all. Microspikes 101. It is gorgeous out today. Blue skies. I mean, it's chilly, sure. 11 degrees. A little bit of a breeze. But snow on the trail, blue skies, sun's out. I've got my jacket open. I might take my gloves off for a little bit. I am warm. That's what having proper layers does. I'm not even wearing my heavy layers. But I do have my insulated snow pants on, which are really warm. They're like a poly, ripstop poly or ripstop nylon, waterproof coated shell, and inside they got this really thick fleece lining. They are so warm. I thought it was going to be windier than it is, so I put on a light base layer underneath that, and I didn't need to. My legs are burning up right now. But I mean, I'd rather be warm than freezing. Now if I was backpacking, I would slow down. I'd probably have my jacket off. I've got enough layers on underneath that I'd be okay. I didn't know how much I'd warm up in here. I didn't know how much how much snow there was, how fast I'd be moving. So I erred on the side of caution as far as wearing the layers. I can always open my jacket up. I don't have a pack with me. I'm not planning on being out here too much longer. I'm gonna get to, snowshoe hair tracks. That's a big snowshoe. And right behind it, in the same tracks, some other tracks almost look like bobcat. There's all kinds of stuff going on here. Yeah, I'm gonna hit this next trail up here, this junction, which is one of the big roads, which I know is gonna be icy. And I'm gonna take that straight up and back over to the car. But this is really just a test of the spikes. And I was excited to get out and try them, since we actually had some ice. Oh. Yep, definitely getting these spikes a test on the rocks. In a minute here, we'll be approaching the feature that this trail, Stonehenge, is named for. Should be cool in the snow. I don't know how well the camera's gonna pick up. I'll take a picture of it too. That is a really good coyote track. There's my hand for comparison. That's a good sized coyote. I mean, it could be a dog, like a house dog, but there's no people tracks around, and there are no houses nearby. And there's nothing. Pretty. Closest houses are probably a mile or better from here. So I'm guessing that's coyote. I got a picture of that too. Alright, the coyote took the view trail. Not a bad option, but we are at Stonehenge. Doesn't look like Stonehenge. This is what this trail gets its name from. Very cool. Looks like the power company's still out here working. No, they were out here last year. They're replacing some of these power poles. And they were only supposed to be out here, like scheduled to be out here for a couple months. But I knew with this hill, it's going to take them longer than a couple months. At least they still got the fencing up down there. Maybe they're done. So, on the, I guess it's considered high voltage. It's one of the forester, one of the old industrial park roads that's still here. But I know, from being out here the other day, these old roads were extremely icy. And I mean, there is snow on top of it, so it's gonna have a little more grip even without the spikes. But I haven't slipped once since I've been out here. This is all ice underneath here. Up the ice. Down the ice. That might be a little dangerous to run down it, but you get the point. And I get the really beautiful view down there. Oh, and I go see it. A little bit of a moon. Looks like about half a moon. Pretty faint. It's nice out. You know, at the beginning of every winter, we start getting these really cold days in the snow. People look at me like I'm crazy. You're gonna go out and hiking this? Oh, I love it. Crisp air, a little snow. Get to see all the tracks. It's nice, I like it. It's not for everybody, I understand that. I sure do like it. And I was out here the other day when my Catulas broke. And if you didn't see that, they didn't just spontaneously break. My Catula Microspikes I had for 9 years, and I just wore them out and they broke. So it's not a knock on the Catulas. I got these ones as FRANDEKs just because they were cheaper. And everything's expensive right now, and I don't know if you can hear me because of the wind. Let me change my direction here. Yeah, I got the FRANDEKs because they're cheaper, and everything's expensive right now. So figured I'd take a look at some cheaper option, because everybody can use a deal, right? And if they work, I don't expect to get 9 years out of them, like I said before, but if they work for a little while, they'll be good. And they do give the cool microspike drag as you're walking. All the way down that road, just straight into the wind. Oh, it got chilly. My face mask up and my gloves back on, zipped up. Whew. The wind picked up there. All right, I'm back to the car. I'll do a little bit of a closing here in the car. Well, the battery died. I don't know why, it shouldn't have been that low. I don't know what's going on with these GoPros. Yeah, let me get these spikes off and I'll talk about them. All right, well, the FRANDEK Microspikes. First impression, not too bad. Even without the strap on them, they stayed pretty tight. They definitely would stay on tighter with the strap. I mean, these are a little bit bigger, extra large. The large probably would have been fine, but they did well. The spikes don't appear to have bent at all. I'll keep them down on the floor because they're already starting to thaw. But yeah, the spikes haven't seemed to deform at all, and I was kicking the crap out of some rocks. So, held up pretty good for one hike. Now, we'll see how long they last. But a couple things to mention. There is, on really, really hard ice, and this happened with my Catulas too, so this isn't a knock on these, but on really, really hard ice, especially where there was a lot of fluffy snow, and it was creating a layer between my foot and the ice and the spikes, they wouldn't grab immediately. So there's like a little bit of a hesitation before they would grab, but as soon as I put weight and start to push off with my foot, they would grab. So I never felt like I was going to slide, but coming down that road, it was too windy to really record and show it, but there was a couple spots where that ice was probably 3 or 4 inches thick. Car says it's still 11 degrees, so it hasn't gotten any warmer. And that's the high for today, I think. So it was in the single digits. It was probably below 0 up here last night. So that ice is good and solid, with a layer of snow on top to keep it good and solid. But like I said, that would happen sometimes with my Catulas too. It's just hard ice, and they want to slide a little bit. There's also a little bit of side to side as you're stepping down, and I think that's just because of the chains. And again, this happens with the Catulas too. So if you get spikes of any brand, you're probably going to notice this, unless they've got like a hard plate on the bottom. There's going to be a little bit of movement. It's not like you're not set in the ice, which is a good thing, because you don't want your foot set like that. You don't want it just to stick. You want a little bit of movement, because that's naturally the way your foot moves. So you do feel that a little bit. That's just the way Microspikes behave. These didn't behave any differently than my Catulas. For $9, I'm super happy with them. We'll see how they go. I might, just because at $9 I'm a little dubious of their longevity, but I might for a little while just throw my one good Microspike in my pack with me if I'm going to be somewhere that I am going to need the spikes and I know it. Just in case something happens, they'll be mismatched, but at least I'll have traction. I might do that for a little while, just until I have a little more confidence in these. But if you're looking for low-cost traction for hiking, or even just being outside in your yard or wherever, I would definitely suggest looking at those. There's a lot of options out there that are low cost. Again, they're made in China, but like I said, the Catulas are made in, I think, Korea. I think it said South Korea. So I don't think anybody makes them here in the US. I will say this again, I know I said it in the last video, Microspikes are to help with traction. They can give you a false sense of security, because you think, I got spikes on, I'm like a mountain goat, and you go running around like I did on that section trail where I ran up and down that icy hill. Just understand, they're not foolproof. They are there for assistance, and don't think that you're impervious to falls or slips because you got them on, because anything can happen. And depending on, the ice can be on a rock, and it might slip, or the spikes might slip on the rock. The ice could break away. Anything could happen. So just always be careful out in the winter, or anytime you're outside. But just, they don't turn you into Spider-Man in the snow. They just give you a little bit of extra traction, and that's how they should be used. So that's my little disclaimer. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I might put this one up, if I get it edited quickly, I might put this up tomorrow from right now. I have a video ready for tomorrow, but maybe I'll flip-flop them. So they might be, you might hear me say in the video after this that I don't have my spikes yet because I recorded that a couple days ago. But with winter in full force and storms coming and cold fronts coming, maybe the traction video should go up first. Maybe that's what I'll do. So I'm gonna go get some lunch and then I got work to do. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you in the next.